Hello and welcome to the Club World Cup. It is Matchday Live. We are back. It's a whole 24 days since the Premier League ended. Hope you've had a wonderful 24 days of following the transfer rumours and the signings and everything that's been going on. But as you can see there, Pep and the players have arrived at the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, which is a bit of a tongue twister. Financial Field in Philadelphia for the first time for our first game in the Club World Cup. We are playing Moroccan team Wydad. And as you can see, the team is on your screen. They're very excited. We are going to get full debuts for Reijnders and for Cherki. The rest of the team you can see on your screen there. It is Ederson, Lewis, Reich, Ake, O'Reilly, Reijnders, Foden, Cherki, Savio, Doku and Marmoush. So that is the starting 11 for our first game in the Club World Cup with two of our new signings making their debuts. Cannot wait to see them today. And there you go, Erling Haaland arriving. He is on the bench. It is an absolutely packed bench because basically everybody else is on the bench. Everyone that travelled is on the bench. So who knows what we'll see? Who could come on? It's very exciting. And there he is, Cherki, our new signing, and Phil Foden, who starts today as well. And then in the background, you might have seen there, Kolo Toure. We're going to talk about him a little bit later because, of course, he's joined the coaching staff for the Club World Cup. And how nice is it to see Rodri fit, healthy, getting off a bus, going into a stadium. That makes us all feel wonderful as well. And there he is, Cherki. We're going to talk about Cherki a little bit later as well. I am loving some of the comments that he made this week as well. Not only how exciting he is a player, but how tasty some of those comments were. So we'll have a little chat about him as well. And we'll chat about Ait-Nouri as well. Of course, not starting today on the bench, but hopefully we might get to see him. So here are the players arriving into not the studio, the stadium. It's lovely to see you all again. We have missed you for all of those 24 days that you have been away from us. Thank you very much for joining us today on Matchday Live. And we've got two legends of this club joining me in the studio today. And do you know what we've got in the studio today? Not one, but two MBEs in the studio as well. Very impressive. First of all, we are joined by former England and City captain. 8 major trophies she won at City, including the WSL. And then, of course, we'll add on that MB. Of course, it's Steph Houghton. Hey, Steph.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to talking soccer aid with you in a bit as well.
I'm sure you are.
We'll get some of the behind-the-scenes gossip, hopefully.
Yeah, we can go for the gossip, yeah.
And then another MBE sat next to her. In 3 days' time, this man will celebrate another Shaun Day, because that is the official day in Bermuda, and he has the freedom of Bermuda. Shaun, we've missed you.
I've missed everyone as well.
We haven't seen you all year because you went off and got a proper job.
Yes, and I still look good, don't I?
Look even better than always,
I'm loving the
Shaun.
baby blue, me.
Well, of course, always.
So, Shaun, today, 21st of June. What are you doing to celebrate?
21st of June.
Yes.
Well, plans haven't been made, but there'll be some good plans, I'm sure.
Is every day Shaun today?
Every day, you know that.
Of course. Now, before we get into the City team, we're going to go through the new players. We're going to have a look through the lineup. But, of course, the Club World Cup started at the weekend. There's been some huge games already. There's been some great results. There's been loads of interesting things happening. So we thought we'd just have a little look back at some of the standout results and performances from the Club World Cup so far. And I think, of course, fresh off the back of winning the Champions League, the most standout result so far for me, Steph, is that PSG win. Of course, playing Atletico Madrid, who are no jokes themselves, and beating them 4-0. They've got to be the favourite probably for this trophy.
Yeah, and I think when you come off the back of a big Champions League win and the way that they actually won that game, yeah, of course, everybody's probably looking at them as favourites because they will be full of confidence. They're probably in that bit of a momentum to want to try and win another trophy. When you've won one, you want to win the other one. So, and also their squad is just stacked with absolute quality, and especially them forward areas and what they bring. So there's no surprise that everybody's trying to take this competition really seriously. And I suppose that PSG are thinking, right, OK, we've just won that Champions League. We probably want to go and win this Club World Cup as well.
Gosh, yeah, I mean, they must be on such a high as well after winning the Champions League. The confidence they must have at the minute, Shaun, that the momentum that is with them after the Champions League, then to have their first game and to beat Atletico Madrid 4-0. I mean, that's a statement for the competition.
Yes, it is. And I really enjoy watching them because they seem as though, again, they're full of confidence because they won the Champions League, but the way in which how they go about games, And to play Atletico Madrid, who we know like to turn a game to become a physical game, the referee in that particular game was having none of it. And I like that because it's like, we're here for football. And PSG is like, we're going to play football. But to win that game 4-0 was exceptional. And to show, I think they are the favourites.
Oh, and the crowd as well, 80,000 people watching that game live as well. It looked electric. It was one of the standout games for me. Now, one of the other standout games so far in the Club World Cup, maybe for different reasons, of course, would be the Bayern Munich game. I presume you all saw that because, of course, Bayern Munich won 10-0, just the 10-0, Steph, just to open up their tournament.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes when you get into the first game, it's just like about winning the first game, but to come through 10-0 that's a statement in itself, I think, especially at the end of a long season where you've probably not done as well in the Champions League. Obviously, the final was at Munich, so I'm sure they'd be really disappointed that they didn't get there. But ultimately, to come and start a competition, I think, that's what I'm saying. I think it's teams are taking this seriously, and I think they want to kind of start fast, and hopefully City can do that tonight in terms of what they bring to the table, but also the squad that we do have.
And I love the fact as well, obviously, we know they were playing Auckland. They're a semi-professional team, but that is part of what excites me about the Club World Cup, that we're getting to see teams that we never see play, Shaun, come up against, mammoths like Bayern Munich.
Absolutely. And, from their point of view, I think they would have been a case of, listen, let's try to put our best foot forward and go and approach the game in a way. They tried a low block, but my interest was watching Vincent Kompany and trying to watch and learn from him as a coach. And he's just basically saying, go there and let them know they're playing against one of the world's best teams. And I like the way, because it kept the game entertaining, because they were still steady at trying to, create goals or create chances and score goals. So I thought it was entertaining from their point of view, but they'll be interesting to watch as well.
So you're watching Vinny as a coach. I love that. Yeah. What did you learn? What do you think of him? What have you learned from him by watching him?
Well, I think it wasn't much you could learn in that particular game, but again, it's his demeanour, his body language. Pep is the best manager in the world, but it doesn't mean that everyone should act and be like Pep. So it's watching Vinny be in his own way. But we know the energy that he has as a player, or he had as a player, and watching him to bring that as a manager. So sometimes we see that energy, and there's times when we see the calmness, and he's probably thinking what are the things that could be happening, and what he's looking at changing, etc. So yeah, it's interesting watching him.
Oh yeah. Can't wait to see what he does in the future.
I'll be doing the same Steph as well,
Yeah.
Watching Steph as well.
And Steph does that to you as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We're all watching.
We always look at
Shaun,
learn.
yeah. And I think that 10-0 is a statement, but also it's probably a reflection of company. I think you don't go into a game and your standards will be scarily high. So I think there's no way that they're going to be able to drop the intensity, because you have someone that's been so successful here, but he's obviously taken what he did as a player to being a coach and got the respect of all the players.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And this competition has definitely got the respect of some of the fan bases as well, because did you see the Palmeiras fans in Times Square? I loved it. Have a look at this if you've not seen it, because they took it over. Oh, my goodness. Look at that.
Wow.
And they're loud. I wonder what tourists that maybe didn't realise there was a football competition going on.
People are fuming, and they've just probably booked on holiday to go to New York, and it's all covered with different fans. That reminds me of Istanbul, actually, that night out.
Oh, Steph, I'll never forget that night out in Istanbul with us.
City fans taking all over Istanbul. That's all we wanted to see.
That's it. And then Palmeiras fans have done that in Times Square as well. Of course, the final of this competition is in New York, so should we get there? Maybe we can...
Take over.
Yeah, we need to find a way of getting there, Steph, and relive our Istanbul night out there. Absolutely. Now, other things that have been happening this week as well. Of course, I mentioned a little bit earlier, you saw Kolo Toure arriving with the team. If you didn't already know, Kolo Toure, of course, former Premier League winner with us and with Arsenal, with invincible Kolo Toure, is part of the coaching team, part of Pep's coaching team now for the Club World Cup. And so, nobody gets away without doing an initiation. And the fact that, who was it that filmed this? Jeremy Doku, thank you very much for filming this. No one gets away.
No, no one gets away. I'm looking at the footwork there. That reminds me of him shuffling as a centre back, shuffling across. I love that though. His initiation of a nice little song about himself, brilliant though. That just shows how the players are all welcome him.
Did you have to do initiations, both of you, at any points?
I didn't, and yes, yeah, I had HR behind me on the day. No, I didn't. I missed that. And to be honest, Steph knows my character, but what was interesting is I don't know what I was seeing.
Oh, OK. You need to have a think about this now, Shaun, because I feel like you can't get away with never having done an initiation.
Did we?
You heard those crickets? Heard those crickets?
Yeah. Have a think what song you would do. I won't make you sing it, I promise. What about you, Steph?
I didn't do initiation when I moved to City, but when you hit like certain milestones at the club, whenever you're on an away game, you had to sing. So I've done quite a few, to be honest. So
She's got an album coming out.
honestly, and people are like, not you again, and I'm thinking, right, OK, my voice isn't great. So
What's your song of choice?
you know what I did? I did the script, The Man That Can't Be Moved, because obviously you try and get people involved as soon as possible, then you're not really singing by yourself. And I did a little bit of The Killers, Mr. Brightside,
Oh,
and
that's a
obviously
tune.
Oasis. You had to throw a bit of Oasis in the mix. So
You wouldn't be a Man
Right.
City player if you didn't
yeah,
sing Oasis at some point.
and that's the key, I think, is just get people involved as quick as you possibly can. So yeah, but proper microphone and everything. But that's cool that he's done that, and I think it's amazing that you've got someone that knows the club and has been part of winning things and like the person that he is. I think sometimes in them coaching staff you need players that have been there and done it, and he's still got some moves, hasn't he? So
Got energy, definitely.
that's brilliant.
I saw some of the other ones as well. It's so cringe but so addictive. I love to watch them. I just want to thank Jeremy Doku again, because if you hadn't have filmed that, we wouldn't have all had the delight of being able to see it. Does anyone stand out that's done one for you, like that's got an actual good voice?
Try to think.
No, no one stands out.
Probably not, no. It's not that memorable, so no.
I'd be too busy laughing, if I'm honest.
Have you got one yet? I've given you a second.
But I would
What
sing.
song would you do?
Oh, no, I wouldn't want to sing Free to Go, because that's just easy. But in terms of a proper song, around my house, my wife and the kids are always playing Beyonce songs, but I don't know all the lyrics to them.
Go on then, B.
Sure,
B
go
for
and
Beyonce.
That's all I'm always hearing all the time is Beyonce songs.
This is so exciting for me. At some point
Texas
we have
Hold'em for Shaun, yeah.
Yes.
That's it now.
Independent.
Next game.
Love that. Do get the single ladies.
All the single ladies,
Yeah.
yeah. Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
Just do it now, Shaun. It's over with.
You got to do the words, you know. You got to do the words.
Thanks, Shaun. This is why
Oh,
I've
it's a
missed you
pleasure.
so much.
Oh,
No one,
it's a
else is
pleasure.
gonna, no one else is going to do the Beyonce hand on this. Talking about singing and karaoke, we were talking earlier and you said you were doing people were doing karaoke at Soccer Aid because you've just come off the back of that as well. How was that experience?
Yeah, I think I've always heard so much about doing Soccer Aid, and obviously it's for an amazing cause, but I think it really exceeded expectations. I spoke to Jill Scott about it, and I'm like, what do you do? She said, oh, honestly, Steph, it's so chilled. And I'm like, surely it's not so chilled, but it generally, like, that group of people, like people from all different professions, not just footballers, singers, actors, actresses, just to have them all in one room and be part of that was, yeah, it was so special. But yeah, there's a few karaoke, so I think if it was your first one, you're always kind of having to go up. So I did Oasis again.
Yeah,
But then
you did.
the likes of Denise Lewis, I was going to say, she did, who did she do? She did Whitney Houston. And you know when you're thinking, all right, OK, everybody will join in, but her voice was brilliant.
Yeah.
So I was just like, OK, take it away, girl. So, yeah, it's such a surreal experience.
Wow.
And probably, yeah, one of the best things I've ever done, to be honest.
We're so proud of you.
Oh,
when
thank
you
you.
came on, Tony, Jill, Carlos Tevez, like, we were so proud to have so many City representatives on the pitch as well.
Yeah.
We've got to talk, though, about something that happened. What did he do to you, Steph?
What a guy, by the way. I mean, like, for me, I think there's been a big thing made of this, and I just got tackled, and the way that I landed wasn't great, so that's what hurt. But for me, like, when we were in training, it was girls v boys. There was no kind of... and nobody was holding back, and... I mean, it's Bonucci, isn't it? Like, one of the best ever centre-halves. And, yeah, this was at the after-party, and he came up and he was like, are you OK? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, OK. Everybody's asking if you're all right. And he was showing us some group chats and stuff like that. And I'm actually fine. He's like, let's get a picture. So I think we're just trying to make a bit of a play on it. But, yeah if everybody wants to stop putting Bonucci on my Instagram, that would be... good, because it's spoiling all the comments.
Can I just say as well, Steph, I was watching it and you immediately jumped up. There was no nonsense of rolling around. You showed them.
I was at Old Trafford and I thought, oh my God, I'm a Man City player. I do not want to be getting took off this pitch at Old Trafford. So I think in my head I was like, get up, no matter if your ribs are a bit sore.
Okay. But between us all now, can you tell me, did you line him up for the next one?
I was thinking if I get any chance,
near him.
yeah, but I was playing midfield, so I was a bit like, oh, I can't get anywhere near him. But yeah, unbelievable day though. So yeah.
Amazing. Have you ever done that? That's got me suddenly thinking, like, has a player ever crunched you and you've thought, if I get a chance, I'm having you?
No, I had players that will line them up for me.
You got Richard Dunn to do it for you.
I'd go back to the centre halves and say, you see what he just done, yeah? Staff would be like, all right, don't worry, I've got him. He comes up here for the corner. But
immediately I'm thinking that was Richard Dunn and Paul Dickoff.
Andy Morrison as well.
Andy Morrison.
Of course, Andy Morrison,
yeah. But no, I never had a challenge where again, you could get challenged and you could fall awkward, and that's where you could. The challenge is like, okay, because I'm sure Steph has done hundreds of tackles like that. So it's just the fact of, oh, she fell. And like I said, I think she would have been lining up. Like, if he comes near me, he's going to get one. He's going to get a Steph challenge, and know about that.
Were you the enforcer in our team, Steph?
Not really, I think, like, you just have a look. I don't know, if someone looks at you, you just kind of know what they're thinking. So it's like, right, OK. But generally, because you play for City, you normally have a lot of the ball. So really, a lot of the time is just about probably, like, for me, it would be like, OK, like, I'm just going to make you run a little bit more. So I think you're thinking a little bit different. But I think when you get to physical games, it's, sometimes if you know that it's been a bit naughty, then you're like, right, OK. But normally Jill, to be fair, I'd just be like, go on, Jill.
Normally, it was Jill. It was Jill.
Just get Jill to just put a little bit of a tackle in. But that was her game, wasn't it? So, yeah.
Could definitely see Jill doing that as well.
Definitely.
Definitely. So, thank you. It's so lovely to catch up with you both as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us Matchday Live. We are looking forward to our first game in the Club World Cup today. It is a 5 o'clock UK time kickoff. You can watch the game free on DAZN. All of our games are free to air on DAZN. So that's where you can watch at 5 p.m. If you want commentary, we are doing commentary with Alistair Mann and Nikki Weaver on City Plus as well. So if you've missed your Ali Man fix, that is the place to go as well. So the game, 5 o'clock, one of the starters today, of course, the team on the bottom of your screen now is Rico Lewis, and we've managed to just catch up with him.
Been out here for a week now, preparing for this opening match against Wydad. What's the mood like?
Obviously, everyone is excited. It's a new experience for all of us. But obviously, the main thing is to come play football, play our style of play, and enjoy it. At the end of the day, we want to enjoy the whole experience. And like I said, it's something new. So yeah, everyone is excited and up for it.
How are the new signings settling in?
Yeah, really good. They're a great group of lads coming into another great group of lads. So there's no problems anywhere. Everyone's fitting in. Everyone's showing their quality. So I think there's no issues at all.
After the season you've had, what would it mean to Manchester City to win this tournament?
Yeah, a lot. Obviously, we want to give it back to the fans as well, who've been with us the whole time through last season, the ups and downs of last season. So, but like I said, more importantly, we want to get back to playing our best football, playing our style and enjoying it. So, yeah. Thanks so much. Good luck today. No worries, thank you.
That's Rico Lewis speaking just a little bit earlier ahead of today's 5 p.m. kickoff in the Club World Cup, our first game of this new season. Because, of course, Pep was saying in his press conference this week, this is not a continuation. He's seeing this as a new season. So I like that. That's how we will see it. And with a new season comes a new captain as well, because they announced, or Pep announced this week, that we have a new captain. We have a new captaincy group. So a captaincy group of Haaland, Rodri, Diaz, and new captain Bernardo Silva. So what do we think from both your experiences? Talk to us about a captaincy group, Steph, because I don't read. Like, what does it mean?
I mean, first and foremost, to be a captain of this club is everything, and I think Bernardo Silva being named captain is just a reward for everything that he's done for the club. Obviously, he's been here a number of years, and I think you can see that Pep really, really relies on him in the way that he puts him anywhere that he can play on the pitch. It's not really one position, but I think it's someone that can be on the pitch reliable, trustworthy, but also knows what it means to wear that armband, but also off the pitch is great with everybody. And you can see off social media that everybody loves him. There's not one person who probably doesn't like Bernardo Silva, and I think that's important. But that leadership group's crucial. I think if Bernardo's not to play, whether it's Ruben Diaz, Rodri, Erling Haaland, that's going to take the armband. But that's like a team within the team. And the way that it used to work at City and in England for me was they're the people that probably have a lot of conversations about how everything's going in terms of that relationship between the players and the staff and that communication. It's that little bit of a kind of closer connection to the staff, and they can bounce ideas. We could have bounced ideas, and it's been always successful for us, and it's obviously worked for the club for a number of years on the men's side as well.
Of course, Bernardo Silva was part of that leadership group last year, and now he's stepping up, as Pep said. Like Steph just said, there 9 years he's been at the club now, Shaun. It's gone fast, hasn't it?
It has, and he's been a great servant to the club. And it's only right, I think, for someone like him to be a part of that leadership group. And you know, when you think about it from a coaching staff to leadership group, it's brilliant because you're able to communicate things and have conversations that you want the players to have buy-in. And Steph would have had experience of both now. To be on the side of knowing what the leadership think, because they think of themselves as individual players, but also to now be on the other side and think, right, as a coaching staff, do you want to train this time as opposed to this time, because these are the plans or the operations, and them have that sort of that input, because then you got everybody that's happy about the time you're training or whatever it may be. So I think it's a great thing. It's a really good thing that's been more part of the modern game. You didn't have necessarily a leadership group back years ago. It used to just be a captain and a vice captain. And in all honesty, I'm not sure too much of what the vice captain did. After that, the captain had to be sort of totally absent.
Yeah.
Oh, now you can do some duties now. You can do some things now. But I think it's really good because, again, as Steph said, the communication become a lot, really good and clearer, and it's a buy-in from all.
And Bernardo Silva gets us as well. I think as fans and as a club, Bernardo Silva, we love his little tea drinking antics. These are live pictures from inside the stadium. For reference as well, of course, you'll have noticed there that of the 4 leadership group, none of them start this game. So today's captain is Ederson, in fact. It's probably one of the most experienced players on the team there. A lot of youth in this team today, which is very exciting. But live pictures, look at them there. Oh, is that Oscar Bob? Oh. This time last season, we were all so excited, weren't we, for Oscar Bob's season? So it's so nice to see him back on the pitch there as well. In terms of this team, so I'm saying there, it's a fairly young team. First time this back four will have ever played together, of Lewis, Vito Heiss, Ake and O'Reilly. So a youthful defence there, Steph.
Yeah, and I think this game's probably perfect to allow youngsters to experience what this Club World Cup is about. And of course, Nathan Ake, we know what he's about, but O'Reilly last year was his breakthrough season, playing in probably a little bit of a different position for him, but he absolutely took his chance and his opportunity and really grew with confidence. And Heiss, we haven't seen much of him. He's obviously a new signing, but it's probably perfect that he's got Ederson behind him, Nathan Ake next to him, and obviously Rico Lewis. We've seen him play right back, centre midfield, a little bit on that right wing as well. So yeah, I mean, the squad is scary if you look at that is the team, but also what the bench is. That's what we wanted last season, but with injuries we didn't have that strength and depth. But now with the new signs as well, this could be a good start to it, a new season, as Pep says. Yeah, absolutely. And seeing, like you mentioned, O'Reilly having such a great season last year, we finally bought a left back, so maybe we don't need to jiggle players, but still, when he has played in this position last year, Shaun, he did great. And of course, Rico Lewis continues to just be ever energetic and fitting wherever he's needed. So I don't know if we'll see this back four often in the Premier League, but in terms of today, I'm excited to see them together, Shaun.
Yeah, I think Pep feels that is a game in which he can play these players. They can get to know each other, but also he feels that he can get the result because he'd want to make sure that you start the competition anyway how you want to end it, and that will be to start with a win, play well enough, start to get that rhythm going, understanding of each other. But what I like is it's a young team, which is going to be energy, and again with Pep's ideas, I'm really looking forward to it.
In a minute, we are going to talk about our attack because, of course, we've got a very exciting attack playing today, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Reijnders and Cherki are going to fit in as well. And then, of course, we are going to talk about our new players as well coming up. So don't worry, you're not missing anything. We are going to get on to talk about the new players as well because I think our business in that short window that we had has been, as always, completely exceptional. So before we do that, though, let's have a look now at this incredible shooting drill that the team were doing out in our base camp, which was in Miami. Lucky them, eh?
Hey. Camera shot that, weren't it? Nice. Oh, I went in the ditch. How's that? Oh, this is top ball. Whoa! Oh! Where's my pass like that? That's tough. Chicken dinner.
I think it was Rico Lewis at one point. We saw the back of his head and he was just like, at the finishes. And that was like, OK, you can finish. All right, well done. My turn now. Do that. I'll do a worldie, then you do a worldie. Some impressive ones there.
It was, yeah. One up and on each other. I'll put it top corner. I'll put it bottom corner. It looks like that was something that probably was a bit after training, where players want to do a little bit of extra finishing. But the quality is immense. And I mean, we just saw the Fodens put one in top corner, and I'm thinking, why is any keeper going for it? Because it's right in the corner. This is the levels, and it's good to see Foden there striking balls, because I think this will be a season where he'll come back to his form. I'm really looking forward to seeing, because I think the new players that we'll get into will motivate him and make him go, yeah, okay, this season. And I think he'll be rubbing his hands, want to play with this quality as well.
Couldn't agree more. So nice to see him smiling and striking those balls so well, and then so nice to see Marmoush there doing it as well. Obviously, we've only had him for since the start of this year, Steph, but he continues to impress.
Yeah, he really does. I think his last goal was against Leicester at home, De Bruyne's final game. I mean, Bournemouth at home, sorry. And that was goal of the season. So he showed his glimpses of what his potential could be. And he's been at the club 6 months. And I think these little clips that behind training, this is where you kind of have a little bit of a laugh, but there's a little bit of a serious kind of way about it as well. But obviously you look at all them players there and their ability in and around the box and in that D, which is one touch, you can't let it out the D. So you're constantly testing yourselves. But I think if you get the likes of Mamouche and Foden really firing along with the new signings, I think this could be a great season for City, and also the competition's there between them all as well.
Steph said something really important there, and that's like, while it's all fun and they're enjoying it, there's a seriousness about it. And it always takes me to times after training, Steph will be practicing her bits and players are having fun, but there's a seriousness of, she's having a free kick and it's hit the bar and she's like, and the next one like goes in the top corner. And whilst there's a laughter going about, there's a seriousness. So it's exactly that. They're having, strikes and they're like, oh, keeper's made a save, or the next one I want to score because Mamouche has just scored. He scored 2 in a row. And I think and this is really good. I think this competitiveness is really good, but the seriousness within the enjoyment of the session as well.
Oh, the competitiveness is so exciting, definitely. Look at that stadium as well. Wow, that is a stunning stadium. So 5 p.m. kickoff, free on DAZN. You can get that. It's 5 p.m. UK time. In terms of that competition as well, looking at the lineup for today, we are going to go on and we're going to talk about the new players shortly. But Doku and Savinho on both the wings today as well. I mean, the excitement that they both bring, Steph. I mean, I can't imagine you're a defender and you're lining up like knowing that, well, on both sides they're going to get us.
Yeah, I think if you're the opposition, I think it's a little bit like, OK, where are these going to play first and foremost? But with Savinho and Doku, you know what they are, but it's so hard to stop them no matter what. And I think Savinho, I still think he's got a lot to learn, but he showed glimpses of what he's about. But I think Doku, especially in the last few games of the season, I think his end product's coming. I think we know what he's like with the ball in terms of dribbling, and we know that he's got raw pace that he shows every single game. But I think for this season especially, it's like, how can you produce, how can you get more assists, but also score yourself, because if you're getting dribbled at with that pace, it's so hard to stop because you don't know which way he's going to you want to show him and you want help. And then if you get doubled up, it's okay, somebody else is spare. And when you've got a City team like we have, you're leaving another quality player that's going to be spare. So it's going to be interesting today how they're both used, but ultimately they are players that can run with the ball and they can cause the opposition so many problems as well.
Of course, we've signed a couple of players that can run with the ball as well. We are going to talk about them shortly. But before we do that, it's time to get the team news from our opponents today. And I would just like to say thank you to the Matchday Live producers for not having me do the away team today. Let's go over to the expert in pronunciations and football around the world. It's Ali Mann.
Thank you, Nat. It is my privilege to be able to give you the Wydad team ahead of this afternoon's fixture. The goalkeeper is El Mehdi Ben Abid, and then they're playing with what looks like a back five today. Mohamed Mufid, and then they have Butoy Mufi Myers, a new signing for them, as is Guilherme Ferreira, who is a Brazilian who they've just signed ahead of the competition. In midfield, they have El Mubarak and Zemraoui, and Lodge, who will go between the two midfield and attack positions. Nordin Amrabat, who's probably the most well-known of the 11. He spent a lot of time playing in England for the likes of Watford, and indeed last season in the Championship at Hull City. He's another new signing for them, and he's the older brother of the Amrabat that used to play for United on loan as well. And then Cassius Mailula is the 11th player on the list, and you can see there's a whole range of substitutes that are available for them. It is just 3 changes for them from their last competitive game, which was back similarly to City really near the end of May. Well, alongside me on commentary duty today is the former City goalkeeper Nicky Weaver. Nicky, obviously we're talking about the opponents, and City, I'm sure, will have done their homework on them. 3 changes for them, 8 changes for City from the game against Fulham. How do you see this game in terms of City's preparation and how they'll be viewing this?
Yeah, listen, it's a game we all expect them to win. We expect them to dominate possession. Pep won't have taken the opposition lightly, but looking at what they did last season and the change of manager and change of personnel in terms of players, you would imagine it's going to be a game that City are going to comfortably win. We don't think it's going to be the 10-0 that we've seen a few days ago, but you've got to beat whoever's in front of you. You've got to earn the right. Pep will, nice to see a couple of new signings in there. It's a really, really strong squad Pep's taken over there, so he's got all sorts of options on the bench, and it'll be interesting to see as and when he uses the subs, because everyone's minutes will be sort of managed throughout this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Pep was saying in his press conference yesterday about how this is a squad that everyone's going to get some game time during this tournament, obviously depending on how deep the Blues go. Just tell us about Ederson as captain today. I mean, it's an unusual thing for him. He's not been captain before. You were a captain for Sheffield Wednesday. How does it change the role of a goalkeeper?
There's just a few more responsibilities. Obviously, before the game, you've got to go in and hand the team sheet in with one of the coaches or the manager, just a toss and all that sort of thing. I don't think someone like Ederson will necessarily change his game. When I was named briefly captain of Sheffield Wednesday, it was a huge honour for me, something that I enjoyed, but when I got it taken away from me, it wasn't that big an issue, because obviously you're so engulfed on what you're trying to do yourself and the team as well. But yeah, it's a huge honour for Ederson. He's hugely experienced, so I don't think it's going to affect his performance at all.
When it comes to any game involving City, the preparation will be huge, the knowledge that they would have imparted to the players and so on. In terms of Pep saying it's not the end of the old season, it's the beginning of the new one, what are the fitness levels going to be like?
Well, it's just particularly for the international players as well. It's just when are they going to get some rest in? And it's been obviously Rodri documented it this time last year, and yeah, so Pep will be really aware of that, and the sports science guys will be really up to date with all the minutes they've had in the last couple of months, both for City and internationally as well. And it'll be something that will just be managed throughout training. That I won't imagine it won't be like a pre-season where they're running and all that sort of stuff. It's one of them. It's just going to be you manage the way through manage everybody's minutes and just make sure, or try to make sure, you don't come back from the States with any injuries.
And of course, the excitement about the two new signings are in the starting 11, Ryan Cherki and Tiani Reijnders. From what you've seen of them, how excited are you?
Yeah, I think they're both really good deals for City. They've obviously paid a lot of money, but it's not, in this day and age, it's not huge amounts of money. But yeah, the bits I've seen, really excited. Obviously, Ait-Nouri as well. We know a lot more about him. He's on the bench, but because he's obviously been in the Premier League, so it's an ideal time for these guys to go and, not just play pre-season games, play competitive games as part of the lead into the Premier League season. So I'm really excited to see them. By all accounts, they've settled in really well, which top players generally do. And yeah, hopefully they can just, it's the start of a new dawn, isn't it, for City, I think, with the signings, and there may be some more to come. But yeah, it's a little bit of in that midfield area, a little bit of a regeneration, if you like, and yeah, really, really interested and excited to see how they get on.
And what role will Ederson play with the fact that in front of him are fairly untried back four? Is he going to be able to sort of make them tick a bit more? Does he take on extra responsibility? Yeah,
obviously he's the captain. It's a young back four, and I think Shaun and Steph mentioned before that it's perhaps not one you're going to see regular in the Premier League, but they'll have been working for a few days like this. I would imagine Pep named his team, they've been doing some shape work and some patterns of play. So, and listen, it's not as if you're putting, four lads who have never played before. You're still putting four relatively experienced players in there who have obviously played at the top level, just perhaps not together and not as often together. So yeah, I don't see that being an issue. And obviously the opposition aren't going to have loads of the ball, so City are going to dominate possession, and we've just got to be a little bit careful on the counter-attack. Looks like they're going to sit quite deep and try and hit us on the counter-attack, and they'll have seen how we did last year, and sometimes we struggle against that at times, so that's an area that they'll think they can exploit, but I'm sure that Pep's got all bases covered.
The thoughts of Nicky Weaver, who's alongside me on commentary duty. Make sure you download the app for that one. Let's get a little bit more inside information now on our opposition this afternoon, Wydad. Just about a week or so ago, I was chatting to a Moroccan journalist, also a DAZN Moroccan expert on this team, Wydad, Amin El Amri, and he was explaining exactly what this team are all about.
It's surely a great club, a historical club in Morocco, but it's also, like I say, the powerhouse in Africa. During the last decade, starting 2015, 2016, Wydad has been very, very competitive on a continental level, reaching 6 semi-finals, 4 finals, winning 2 of them. It's a wonderfully team that gets fans passionate about it. It's so visceral here in Morocco. It's either you're passionate about football or either you don't care about it. And let's be clear, there's a majority of people really, really passionate about football. And of course, Wydad has got this great ability to convey lots and lots of people, especially with success. That's normal.
What can we expect? What is a typical Wydad performance tactically, and how do they go about their business?
It's a very good defensive side, without being ultra defensive side. I mean, they're not going to spend the 19 minutes in their 30 yards, but as such, being a really good defense, they have the power to strike in transition, in quickest and very, very quick transitions, especially thanks to the wingers, especially thanks to the fullbacks that they've got. Very physical, very good with the, very at ease with the football. So of course, for example, playing against Manchester City is it's a huge thing. So of course, the basis would be to not concede first, and then go for something, whether in transition and also in set pieces. Wydad have been very good in set pieces in this exercise, and they have got some very tall players that are good with their head. So I think it's going to be this. The DNA of the club has always been very good basis on the defense and transition and quick transitions. But the spirit will be there. And that's something I commend, that's something I love, and that's something I'm sure that any Moroccan side, especially Wydad, will have. Between Moroccans and Algerians, there's this tremendous rivalry. So when we saw Ait-Nouri, I mean, Manchester City, come on, look a bit to the west. You have got some good players also in Morocco. But to be honest, I'm very, very happy because he's been wonderful with the Wolves this season. He's been very good. I think it's a wonderful addition to a very, very good side Manchester City is. We've had Brahim Diaz, actually, which really never had this protagonist role in Man City, but you can see now that he's thriving in Real Madrid. And we hope that maybe City sometime will sign a Moroccan, but all the best for Ryan Ait-Nouri, because I like this guy. He's a very good left back.
Thank you there to Ali and to Amini. Didn't need to see that goal again, though, guys. Thanks for that. Was feeling quite positive then. I just remembered about that. But no, it's a new season. We're all good. And we've got new signings. I mean, we rarely go wrong in a transfer window, but I think this is particularly impressive to have got these signings over the line at the start of June before the tournament. It was clear that the club had a vision, who they wanted, and they went out and they got them. So, first of all, our first signing that we announced was, of course, Ryan Ait-Nouri from Wolves, of course, who was referenced there as well, who they talked about. We'll all know him, of course, because he was at Wolves for 5 years, one of the most exciting fullbacks in the league, an absolute must in your FPL team for years if you play that as well. First signing that we made, and oh my God, Shaun Gota, we signed a left back, an actual left back.
Yes, and I try to. This is why Pep is the best, because he sees things that we all don't see. But this player here, he's a dribbling fullback. And all our fullbacks before have been technically really good, and they just pop up in the number 10 position, and you think, oh, he scores goals as well. But I'm looking at him and I'm trying to think, well, how are we going to utilise this player, because Ait-Nouri, because he's again a dribbling sort of fullback, and I think he will add a dimension, like we're building in the back, and all of a sudden there's a gap, and then he just darts through, and that makes it a whole nother dimension to how you can defend against City. So I'm really excited to see the likes of him in our team, because again we have fullbacks that can be fullbacks, we have fullbacks that can overlap, we have fullbacks that can pop up in 10 positions, and I think this is probably, if you're looking at evolving and where do we go next, this is probably the next evolution of a fullback for us, is a fullback that can dribble and is really good on the ball. So I may be wrong off the mark, but this is my guess and my feeling with him. He's this sort of player that this is what he can bring to City.
I was excited, but I'm more excited now by hearing you say that. But it makes sense when you look at his stats. 4 goals and 7 assists he had last season, Steph. He was the second most assists in the Premier League last year from any defender as well. So how excited are you about him?
Yeah, of course. And because we've lost the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, who is very good in them areas, crossing from wide areas, I think he is going to bring us something different. You look at Guardiola, who had a great season. He's probably the player of our season last year, playing in that unorthodox left-back position where his position is centre-half. I think it allows that more competitiveness in terms of different games are going to bring different challenges. And with Ait-Nouri especially, I think for Wolves, that obviously escaped relegation, really kind of picked up the second half of the season. He was key to that because of his attributes in terms of getting up in the pitch and making them late runs in the box. So I think for me, I think it's a really smart signing from Manchester City in the sense of that we haven't had that out-and-out left-back for a while, and we've had players that have played out of position, but I think obviously naturally left-footed as well. That gives us that little bit of balance on that side and likes to attack. So I think for us, I think it's someone that we needed, and we've got him in quick as well.
Very much. Cannot wait to see when he plays and how he will play as well. But we have a left-back, a real left-back. Very exciting. Also very exciting because our next signing then was Cherki from Lyon. Now, of course, we'd seen him play for Lyon, or you would have seen him play for Lyon, obviously in that Manchester United game as well. Oh, did I love his comments about that. I was having that. Talk about getting yourself friends with all of the fans immediately. He's been described as one of the greatest technicians in Europe. What do we think that means?
Well, what does that mean? When I think of a midfield technician, is somebody that has a quality of pass, somebody has the ability to score from distance. It also has a dribbling quality about the game. So, and the little bit I've seen of him, I expect him to be this sort of player, not like Kevin De Bruyne, as in threaded passes from in his own half or even in the opposition's half, higher up the field. But I think he'll be a little bit dynamic and bring a dribbling element to our game. So this is why it's interesting, because again, a lot of these players that we're bringing in have this dribbling element or quality. And it'll be really interesting to see, because we're a team that move and pass. We pass the ball and we stay in our positions, but we know that the ball is coming. So to have more dribblers in the team, I think is a really good move, because all of a sudden we can pass, and then all of a sudden any one of our 5 players can just open up a defence, because we can skip across the player, and all of a sudden you've got an advantage, an overload in an attacking part of the field. So he's somebody I look forward to seeing, because we have in our mind Kevin De Bruyne. And Kevin De Bruyne, and he said himself, he's not Kevin De Bruyne, but I think he will excite us in a different way.
You are getting me really excited about these players that I was excited about them, Shaun, but if we hadn't assigned them yet, you'd have sold them to me right now. Cherki can play as a winger, but he said he prefers to play in that central number 10 role. We're going to see today, because he starts today, Steph, but we're expecting to see him and Foden in the middle, I'm guessing. Yeah,
and you look at them 2 players and they are very good in small and tight spaces, and I think that's maybe something that we missed a little bit last year, was when we were against that low block, being able to have that little bit of magic to be able to kind of in them spaces create something or to score. And he's certainly one, especially in that Man United Europa League game, that you're looking and you're thinking he tried to produce a lot of different things that we haven't probably seen in the Premier League, and not that we're used to seeing at Manchester City. So there's so much kind of promise about him, and I think it is interesting that we've done our business early, because like Pep said, this is the start of probably pre-season. This is going to be our pre-season before the first game of the season against Wolves. So I think for me, we're looking at all these players. They are dynamic. They're in the right age range in terms of the peak years are yet to come, and they're going to be learning off the greatest manager in the world. So I think for me, even though we're excited about them, I'm sure they are excited of being at this club, because they get better when they come here and they improve every single season.
Of course, Cherki said he wants to get revenge on Manchester United for that Lyon game. Well, he's going to get the chance on the second home game of the season, of course, because fixtures are out today, and that is when we will be playing them. I'm expecting a Bonucci-style tackle that he's going to make on someone.
Can we get this clear? The tackle wasn't a Bonucci style, it was just a tackle.
It was a staff tackle.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. We'll go for it. If he can do that in the Manchester derby, we're all right with that.
Last mention of Bonucci. Last mention. Okay, and then, of course, our third signing, very, very exciting signing. I was so happy when this one went over the line. Reijnders, Serie A's best midfielder in 24-25, and obviously playing in a team that was not doing great as well last season. 15 goals in 54 games. He was also a standout player in the Netherlands run to the semi-finals of the Euros last year. Now, going back to what you were saying about dribbling, Shaun, so some phenomenal stats about his line-breaking passes, the way that he carries the ball as well. You excited by this one?
Yes, again.
Of course you are, Shaun.
I am, and the reason being, when I see the puzzle that Pep is putting together, I see players that can interchange and make the right decision. So whether you're at 8 or a 10 or a 9 or 7 or 11, that if you're in that position, you make the right decision at that given moment. So these players are all technically good. They're all good dribblers. So if it means that he ends up in the wide position, he has the ability to still be able to be as a winger. If it requires him then at that moment, I have to take on the fullback, well, then he has that ability, because he has those qualities in his game. So I think when I look at the recruitment that we're doing, I think this is evolving our team in a way that makes us really dynamic, because we're putting young energy, quality, and technical, really good players. So I'm really excited, because I think wherever the ball goes, there's a player that can elude their defender with a one-on-one situation, or they have the cleverness to go, I've got a good pass in me to hurt a defense. So it's almost like we're recruiting a team which is almost a team of midfielders, but that have that quality of midfielders.
Yeah.
And if they start to put goals with their quality, I think we could have a repeat of the seasons we've had where we talk about, a lot of our players getting over 10 goals, and that's when we are on another level.
And a stat that I read of his that stood out for me, broke the opposition's defensive line with a pass 47 times, which was more times than anybody else in Serie A last year as well. And also, I imagine Savinho and Doku are excited as well, because I saw incredible stats of the passes that he made last year, and he likes to run and then pass it out to the wingers. So they are going to lap him up. So excited about that as well. And just to say as well, of course, we did make another signing. We signed a new goalkeeper. Welcome to Bettinelli, who came from Chelsea. But of course, he's got some big old shoes to fill, because he will, of course, be in the place of Scott Carson.
It's like Cumberland sausage, that. You like Cumberland sausage?
Cumberland what? Let me go and check my phone, Ben, quick. Let me see if Sam's getting from me. I've had nothing yet.
Dry.
Holz.
Schachtel.
Oh, good accent.
I'm not in it. I checked.
Check the dog and bone.
I thought it was 2006 again, but
See if I'm in.
I was still waiting for Sven to call me. Every year.
We saw the cameo you had, it's got to be higher rated.
Before it comes out, the kid's straight on me. Lad, you've gone down,
Straight
you've
away,
gone
yeah.
down, you're going down. Look at your speed, you're going down.
Mate, they're forgetting about the appearance, that's why. Forget about the appearance.
Well, I've had 2 missed calls at 11:45. No voicemail, though. You haven't tried it?
No.
You've been in England 2 years and you haven't tried Cumberland sausage?
No, I'm in love with Sunday roast.
You need to try Cumberland sausage.
So what you're saying is the secret to longevity is gardening?
Well, that's mine anyway. Yeah.
Oh, we love Scott Carson. Of course, Scott Carson leaving the club at the end of his contract after some very successful years. And of course, we are so grateful here on Matchday Live to have had a player that was so willing to dress up as well. I don't think we'll get that again. I'm not sure if we've got a fantasy dresser-upper in the squad anymore. But of course, Scott Carson, just so important. I mean, Steph, you'll know from to have those players in squads that just lift everybody's spirits.
I think you underestimate them types of characters. I think unless you've been in a dressing room where you know how important them characters are, and even off them clips there, I think obviously you're playing every 3 days, it can become quite serious. You need someone that can kind of bring that energy to the changing room and also keep people humble. I think he obviously didn't get the kind of playing times that he probably wanted, but he obviously knew his role in sense of being that kind of glue that held the dressing room together, added that probably a little bit of fun and creativity around the team, and of course being in that goalkeeper unit. I think it's important that you do have them characters that are able to have a little bit of fun, like let everybody relax a little bit, and obviously the Gareth Southgate thing in terms of whether he was going to ring him to be an England call. I think if you're around people like that don't take it that seriously, it just kind of adds a little bit of perspective to the game. And obviously you want to fight for trophies, but you need to play your part in a different way, and he certainly did that.
Did you have a fun, crazy third-choice goalkeeper in your times?
Not a third-choice goalkeeper. Our first-choice goalkeeper, Nicky, at the time.
I was going to say, be careful, Nicky's listening.
Yeah, I'll be careful what I say. But as Steph said, I mean, the role that they typically are sort of senior players, but they keep the camaraderie, they keep the players together. He's taken it to another level because he gets involved in terms of the different outfits that he puts on for the laughter and for the crack and stuff like that. But it shouldn't be underestimated because, again, he does it's a brilliant job for the players that are coming from, all the different parts of the world that we have. And he puts a laugh on their faces, and it's absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, we wish him well.
We do. He'll be sorely, sorely missed. Now, we are less than 10 minutes away from tonight's 5 p.m. UK time kickoff for our first game in the Club World Cup. And if you are, of course, in the UK, thank you, watching us, then you can switch over to DAZN at 5 o'clock. The game is free to air on DAZN. All of our games in the Club World Cup, you get free on DAZN, but you're doing it right. You're getting your nice City-centric content here with us pre-show, and then you switch to DAZN and get the game for free as well. If you want commentary as well, if you've missed Ali Man's voice, commentary with Ali Man and Nikki Weaver. Say no more, Shaun. We're not saying anything that's not positive about you, Nikki Weaver. That is, of course, available as well on City Plus. So less than 10 minutes to go. I am so excited now. Excited to see the new players. Excited to see this lineup. Just excited to watch City. You know, it's been a long 24 days. So, Steph, what sort of game do you expect from City?
To be honest, I think you look at the lineup and I think we're probably expecting to have a lot of the ball, and we're expecting probably playing against a low block. I think you'd be stupid to kind of open up against a City with all this quality. But I think for us, I think it's important that we do start well. I think we have to have that energy, and I think obviously it looks at the likes of Bayern Munich, PSG, what they've done in this competition so far. I think it'd be nice for us to kind of send out a little bit of a statement that this is probably a new chapter of this football club. I think of course, we wanted to win trophies last season, but I think the main thing was that we got Champions League football, and we've managed to do that. And this squad is going to be crucial to how successful we are going to be in the Premier League and the other trophies that we always try and win. So I'm excited. I think it's good to have new blood into a team and to see what the new players are about, but also have the expectation that this is new for them, and it might take a little bit of time for them to settle in. But the greatest thing is that we've got so much strength and depth in this squad, and we know what these players have done over the last few years for this football club.
Give me a score prediction then.
I'm going to go 3-0 City.
Oh, OK, yeah. I like that, Steph. Shaun, what's your score prediction?
I will go 4-0.
OK.
I'll go for...
Yeah, you're going to do that, Shaun.
Like
well,
just
yes.
go one up.
I like that. Good, positive start. That's what we like.
Nedum always used to do that. Just got on there.
Hip you. Oh, well, I'll take either of them. A nice, strong victory for our first game in the Club World Cup. Thank you so much for joining us on Matchday Live. Thank you to Steph. Thank you to Shaun. We will be here at half-time and at full-time as normal. So watch the game for free on DAZN, then get your proper City content at half-time and at full-time with us. So thank you very much. We will see you at half-time, full-time, where hopefully we're talking about an opening victory in the Club World Cup for City. Now switch over to DAZN.
So just 24 days after City's victory at Fulham, which concluded the Premier League season, City are back in action once again in a competitive fixture as they open their FIFA Club World Cup campaign here in the USA against the Moroccan club side Wydad. It's the first of their 3 group games in this new look international and prestigious competition, with the Blues looking to win it for sure